Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars game series news and talk about content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I'm Sithrith, and today we have Draculetta.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And we have Thalros.
Good evening.
He's very tired. Uh, but we have a lot to talk about this week, so get untired.
Okay.
You've been told.
Yeah. So, just do it. First of all, this week, of course, was the Stronghold open beta. It was up for 24 hours. Drac, unfortunately, was sick, and so did not get to participate. But Athelros and I did get to play it, and we're going to talk about it a bit more later on in the show, because that's pretty much what some of us did this week. But they did post the day that Stronghold beta went live. They posted up this kind of overview to give people an idea of what to expect going in. So they posted like this nice high-res map of the map and gave a rundown of what you have to do. So in Stronghold mode for PvP, the goal is to kill the Lord. Now that sounds kind of like certain maps that we have already for PvP. However, this isn't a point controlling map. The goal is to kill the Lord. Whoever kills the Lord wins. The match ends, and that's it. To do this, there is a supply depot in the middle where you run to and you get supplies. You bring them back to your base, to your barracks, and you can summon either Doorbreaker NPCs, which, do a lot of damage to gates, because player characters cannot damage the gates that the Lord is behind. And there are also Archer NPCs that you can summon. They do more damage to, like, say, guards and stuff, because the Doorbreakers are very weak. So there's a lot of strategy just there between, deciding when to send out Archers and when to send out Doorbreakers. There's also Trebuchets that you can use to help defend your gate against invading enemies. And every so often, you can summon a hero for your team who is a very, very large NPC who will come and fight for your team and help break down gates, help kill lords. They do a lot of damage. So that is that. That's kind of just the very short version. There's a whole lot of different strategy that you can use here. Again, we'll talk a little bit about our experiences later on, but that's kind of the gist of it. It was a pretty fun 24 hours, though, and on our site, Char decided to write up his reflections on the Stronghold beta, and he says that basically he thinks that using speed, pretty much you can dominate this map. By using speed, you can run and get supplies very quickly, spam NPCs that you're looking to use, either Doorbreakers or Archers. He felt that defense didn't seem like an important part of the strategy to winning this map. That is like defending your own gate against the the invading NPCs and players. And yeah, he also compared it to League of Legends or Smite, which is, it's a common kind of comparison. A lot of people have been comparing this map to MOBAs. I don't really agree. Yes, it's lane systems, but I don't think it's very similar. But yeah, so Char seemed to like it, I think, based on his write-up. He also thinks that with this map, there's going to be some new builds coming about, specifically speed-based builds, like I said, and also condition damage, because it's hard to just straight DPS down some of these, and the lords and stuff that are around the map that you need to kill. So yeah, that's Charters. And yeah, Thalros and I will talk about our experience with it, because we played quite a few matches, actually. But Drac, this week is also Guild Wars Anniversary Celebration.
Yes, it is hard to believe it has been 10 years since Guild Wars first originally launched. The celebration is going to kick off April 22nd and will run through April 29th. Once again, it is at most of it is at the Xingjin Boardwalk at the Xingjin Monastery. So you can talk to the boardwalk keeper, and he will grant you access to the boardwalk, and that is where most of the events are. And that includes the Dragon Arena for the roller beetle racing, which everybody always loves. And also, once you are out killing monsters and mobs in the world, they will be dropping all of these special items again, like they have as in the years past. That would be cupcakes and sugary drinks and such as that. And you can also get the anniversary pet for Rangers, which is a flaming Hound of Balthazar. And I'm going to have to get one of these because it is awesome looking.
I was gonna say that sounds right up your alley.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing looking. And then also for characters that are at least 8 years or older, you will get a birthday present voucher in your inventory, and you take that to the birthday. In Lion's Arch, you take that to the birthday gift keeper, and you can exchange that for any present from any of the previous year's birthday gifts. So that is a good way to get, like, if you're looking to complete, like, your mini collection or something like that, and you know it was in a birthday present, you can take that voucher and you can choose to get that. So pretty good deals. It's going to be awesome. The roller beater racing is always fun. And there's always a lot of people just standing around having fun in Xinjiang Monastery Boardwalk. So
Cool.
April 22nd through April 29th.
Yeah, it is hard to believe that game's 10 years old now.
So, yep,
That's crazy.
it is. It's crazy. It was April 26th, 2005 is when Guild Wars launched.
April is a popular month to launch MMOs, it seems.
It does seem that way, yes.
So this, specifically today, we got some more articles from the official Guild Wars 2 blog. The first one is about masteries in the Maguma jungle, and basically this article just kind of recaps most of what we already know. Basically, they are introducing masteries as a way, as like a new progression system, of course, and they're introducing it so that they can avoid what they called power creep and skill bloat and all that kind of stuff that ends up plaguing older MMOs. As an MMO goes on, the gear grind increases, and so to make new gear better than old gear, they have to add more stats, and so like 2 or 3 expansions in, you just have ridiculous amounts of stats. So to avoid that, they're adding these progression systems like masteries so that they are, you get progress towards very specific things. So the masteries where you can learn how to use a glider, or, learn how to jump on the mushrooms, or interact with the Hylex in the Maguma jungle, that kind of stuff. It's more specific, but it also can be applied later on to other things without adding power bloat and all that stuff that, like I said, it can be a really big problem in older MMOs, and so they're trying to combat that earlier on in Guild Wars 2's life cycle. The other article they came out with is about the new tribes of Hylic in the Maguma jungle that we're going to be interacting with in Heart of Thorns. I had to try really hard not to say Thrones. I did call Game of Thrones Game of Thorns the other day, by the way. So it goes both ways. But there's 2 distinct tribes of Hylic. Technically 3, but mostly 2 distinct tribes of Hylic in the Maguma jungle. One is called the Itzel, and they are tree frog based. And so they're all kind of lanky, spindly, very shiny, big red-eyed tree frogs. They have a very positive outlook on life. They've learned to adapt to the jungle. Everything that the jungle provides is some kind of positive thing to them somehow. One thing that I thought was really cool, apparently, like, if you watch their animations, when they shoot bows, they take the arrowhead and they dip it in their mouths before they shoot it, because they're tree frogs, so they're poisonous, so they use their own poison to poison their arrows. That's kind of cool. The other tribe of Hylic are bullfrog based rather than tree frog based. They're kind of big, tanky, and they are called the Nuhawk. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Something
Nuhawk,
like
probably.
that. Nuhawk. Yeah, we'll go with that. And they're very big, burly, bullfroggy ones, and they're kind of the pessimists of the group. They are the Aethelros frog, and but they live in harmony with the other ones. Yeah, you can't say anything because you know it's true.
Maybe about the harmony part, but I think the Hylic are probably, at least like at the moment, the weakest of the races they have in terms of of how interesting they are. At least in my opinion, they're kind of just meh all around. Like, the other ones kind of have this thing that's interesting about, but the current Hylic are kind of just like, eh.
Well, I think with this expansion and introducing these new tribes of Hylic and all that, it seems like it's interesting, especially because the third tribe of Hylic is actually the Hylic that we interact with in the rest of Tyria currently, but they are fanatics, and the Hylek we interact with, they worship a sun god called Zintel, and so these fanatics are coming to the Istel and new Hylek that we're interacting with in the Maguma jungle and trying to convert them to their religion. So that's interesting strife amongst all the Hylek. I think that could be an interesting story.
Yeah,
plot.
like the new ones that are coming out, I think are definitely going to make them more interesting as a race.
Mm-hmm.
Especially their different looks.
Yeah, I like the tree frog looking ones. They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Oddly, even though they're described as being the happiest ones, both screenshots, they look kind of unhappy.
Yeah, they just all look very grumpy. I think it's hard to make a realistic-ish looking humanoid frog look happy. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to make frog people. Whatever. Anyway, Drek, sales this week, please.
Well, if you ever wanted a rainbow unicorn to finish off your opponents in PvP, this is the week for you.
Yes!
700 gems in the gem store. You too can have a rainbow unicorn finish your foes off.
10 out of 10, do recommend.
I was just about to ask if you bought it, but apparently the answer
There
is yes.
is nothing more satisfying, especially with Stronghold, because when you, like with the Lord, when you kill the Lord, like it goes into a down state, so you can use a finisher on the Lord in Stronghold. There is nothing more satisfying than killing the Lord with a rainbow unicorn finisher and winning the match. That is the best thing ever.
I'm sure glad I wasn't there for that.
It was amazing.
Also in the store, they now have what they're calling the Living World Season 2 Complete Pack. And apparently this had some bug with it because they put it up for sale and then they took it out of the store and now it's back in again. Basically what this is the price will vary on what episodes you do not have unlocked. So it can be, I couldn't really give a price on it because it just depends how many of the episodes you need unlocked. But the discount price will only show up if you go through the store. If you look on your journal panel, you're not going to see the discounted price. So if you know there's several episodes of the Living World Season 2 that you need to unlock, make sure you're going to do it through the store and you'll get a discount. And it sounds like it's a pretty considerable discount at that.
Well, that's good.
So that's a good thing for people that have maybe missed unlocking several episodes. I think I have all of them unlocked, but maybe 2 of them. So I might look to see versus the regular price, how much the discounted price would be for the 2 that I need.
Yeah.
Then also they had what they called the Stronghold beta sale going on, where they had some special prices on the Mist Herald backpack, the Shadow Assassin's outfit, and transmutation charges, and those were all 15% off. And also there are some new hairstyles that snuck in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you checked those out.
Of course I did. So there's 3 new hairstyles per gender, per race, although some of them, like especially with Sylvari, there are some unisex hairstyles kind of thing that apply to both genders. So for Sylvari, really, it's only 3 new hairstyles total. But basically, there seems to be kind of a theme for each race. Humans and Norns are getting the undercuts, like where you have the long hair and then one side of your head is shaved kind of thing. Also, some more Norn kind of braided updo things like they do because they're Norn. Humans just generally, besides the undercuts, get some sweepy hair like they always get. Sylvari gets some more thorn and branch related hair, although the one new female Sylvari haircut is like 2 long ponytails. It's kind of Sailor Moon looking hair, and I may have gotten it on my Mesmer and dyed it pink. And the char hairs have caused quite a bit of a stir.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we talk about the char hair?
So the char hair, basically, it seems like the running theme for new hairstyles to introduce for, especially char male, is kind of these big over-the-top jokey haircuts. Like, they don't seem to really release, like, just regular-looking hairstyles for Char. They go, like, there's the Super Saiyan hair. I'm sure everybody's seen it, where it's Super Saiyan hair. It's just ginormous Super Saiyan hair. And now there's kind of Cloud Strife-esque hair also. And then there's the Char female hair, which is very over-the-top dreadlock and afro mixes. And one thing that a lot of people have been really upset about is that basically, well, besides Sylvari, although kind of the furry haircut kind of looks like it, but basically the only race that doesn't have like traditional kind of like African hair, like, you know, afros, dreadlocks, stuff like that, the only race that doesn't have that kind of stuff are humans. Every other race can have dreadlocks. So that kind of doesn't make any sense.
Considering humans are the race that originally had those.
Right. So people are like, what is the deal with that? It's weird. Why did Char have them?
Their models wouldn't be appropriate for it.
Right. Like, you can pick any skin tone of human, and I don't know. It's a very strange decision, and so it's bizarre. But that's the new hairstyles that came out. So I think that's about it for game-specific news. So now we'll move on to news on our site. First of all, Guild Wars Players is now on Tumblr, because I noticed that there is a ginormous Guild Wars 2 community on Tumblr. I had posted earlier in the week asking for submissions for the weekly outfit on Tumblr, and it got a ton of reblogs and likes, like so many, and I got so many emails with outfits, so I'm very happy about that. And it made me think, maybe we should have more of a Tumblr presence and start posting stuff to Tumblr. So now, on top of guildwarsplayers.com, you can go to guildwarsplayers.tumblr.com, and I'll be posting podcasts and some news articles and stuff there. You can follow us. You can send us asks on Tumblr and ask us stuff for Guild Wars 2 Academy or just any questions that you have generally. And we'll answer them. So we're on Tumblr. You should follow us and stuff. And then moving on, also, by the time this gets posted as a podcast, we usually post this podcast at 9 in the morning on Saturday. So if you get this right when it gets posted, there should be enough time for you to know about this. On April 18th, from 1 to 5 CDT, is going to be an MS Toga Party. It's going to be in both Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, so either game. It's going to be this big charity fundraising and awareness for multiple sclerosis. There's going to be trivia, there's going to be costume parties, and it sounds like it's going to be a really great party. They're trying to raise money for MS walks for, you know, wherever it is that you're located. They're trying to raise awareness and raise funds. This is being hosted by Gamers Giving Back. So if you are looking for more information, if you want to donate, if you want to partake in this big party that's going to be happening, go check out our article on our site because we've got all the details about it. And it sounds like it's going to be really fun. So Drek, Sounds of Tyria. What's up with it this week?
We're still on the Guild Wars Nightfall soundtrack, and this week the name of the song is Sunspear's Attack. And this is actually not really on the soundtrack, but it kind of is. I know people are going, what? How is that even possible? It was a bonus that you could download from the website. So it wasn't included on the actual soundtrack, but it is part of it. And it was also used in the second trailer for Guild Wars Nightfall. And if you watch that trailer, which I should have thought about now, I should have probably linked that in the article I posted about this, but it really fits the mood of the trailer. And if you listen to the song, it starts out just kind of like very slow and like ethereal, and then about 45 seconds in, it just bombards you with like sound and guitars and drums, and it's a lot different than any other song on the soundtrack. So give it a listen. Sunspear's Attack. And you could basically, as you're listening to it, you can imagine it playing during a battle because it's very like fast paced and it's a little heavier too. So that kind of adds to the whole, war battle type theme.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another good song from the Guild Wars and Nightfall soundtrack. And I think next week we're going to leave Nightfall and head into Eye of the North for a little bit.
Nice. All right, and Thoros, I know you just loved this week's video spotlight. I know you loved it. Maybe.
You know not of what you speak.
Okay, well then tell us about the video.
This is I'm not sure how to describe this really. It is a video by Ixa, I presume it's pronounced, and it's kind of a parody of a song.
Of a song called Somebody That I Used to Know by Gottlieb.
Yeah, that one. And it's about the Super Adventure Box mode that obviously went away.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently someone is upset about that. And there are Asura in it, and, well...
Yes. It's an Asura singing about how she's sad that they turned off the Super Adventure Box.
Asura singing are just as bad as Asura talking, so...
They did do a really good job at changing the lyrics up and
making
the
really
lyrics
good.
fit what they were doing in the video and about the game.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it is. And they did a great job doing that.
Yeah, the production quality is good. I'm not denying that.
But your personal value judgment is...
My personal values are not in line with this.
All right. Well, I liked it. I laughed out loud when I was listening to it. I guess it just depends on what kind of outlook you have. And that's why you're the bullfrogs.
I am the bullfrog.
All right. So this week's community outfit is from Zero Kitsune. Like I said, I did get a ton of emails this week from Tumblr people, and so we're going to be working through that whole backlog because, gosh, I got so many emails. But this first one is from Zero Kitsune, who sent us in before that whole deluge of emails, and this is his Human Guardian. It's a rebuild. He says it's a bit darker color set, so it doesn't screen capture very well. But I do really like this. He used a lot of Starry Night, Enameled Sky, Royal Blue, Hydrangea, Midnight Blue, Midnight Sky, Midnight Violet. So it is a very dark color set. But it's really cool because it's got these shifting lighter and darker blue bits. He does use the black feather wings, of course. It's a very nice plated armor look, and it does look very Guardian-ish. He also has a little halo. It's called he used a selfless potion, and it gives you a little halo effect. So that's a nice touch. So if you have an outfit that you would like to see us feature on the site and on the podcast, and eventually probably also on Tumblr, send it to us at contact@guildwarsplayers.com and use the subject line weekly outfit. So we're going to skip the lore book this week just because I feel like we're going to have a lot to talk about regarding Stronghold. We want to keep our show nice and consistent lengthwise. So, Thalros, let's get into Stronghold now that we're at the what did you do this week in game, and I know basically all you did was Stronghold. So, what did you think about Stronghold?
I think it was a more layered type of game from the PvP ones. I suppose you could say there's a lot more parts to it.
Yeah.
The other ones is they have the sort of gimmicks, Skyforge has that thing you can use and the panels that fall through and stuff like that, but they're not really core to the game mode. It's pretty much still go to this place and kill people.
Right.
With this one, there's kind of some tactical management of the units, because obviously you cannot break the gates on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to send in enough people. A few games we did, I think especially the first one, where because we weren't sending out biblical door breakers, or we weren't able to because the other team were stopping us doing it, we were just flat out not able to break the gates. And because you can't break the gates, you can't kill the Lord.
Right. Yeah, there's so many layers of strategy, like you said. There's with the supply thing, it can be really easy for the other team to just kind of camp the supply area, especially if they've got an engineer or something and they just camp that supply area. they can basically stop you from making any progress in the map. If you can't grab supplies, you're not going to be able to send out door breakers. Alternatively, they could camp your lane and just kill all your door breakers, because the door breakers die pretty quickly. Yeah, there's a lot of different layers of strategy. There's also you got to figure out when and how many NPCs you send out. Like, do you want to just send out a whole bunch of door breakers right off the bat? Maybe send out some archers first to kill the guards that guard the gate.
Yeah.
It's much more complex than the other PvP maps.
I remember we tried like a few different ways of doing it. I think in the end we kind of settled on just pushing the first like gate, maybe the second one on our own, like with the door breakers, and just killing the guards ourselves. Because the early ones go down pretty fast, and most people don't seem to actually defend. They just go straight for the middle area.
Yep. That's the thing. Like I said earlier, Char thinks that defending is not an important part of the strategy of this map, and early on I certainly I certainly agree. However, later on, defense can be a really important part. So I remember one time we were doing it, and Tharos and most of the team was off trying to kill the other team's lord, and of course their team was trying to kill our lord, but all the gates were down. Me and one other person on our team stayed up with our lord and tried to defend him and kill the players killing him. And like I said earlier, also, the lord goes into a down state. It doesn't just get killed like a NPC does. Usually it has a down state, so you can revive it. So we were trying to defend this lord. It went into down state, and I was just standing there reviving it, just like with all my might. I kept switching him in and out of Death Shroud, trying to stay alive and revive the lord. And that gave the rest of our team just enough time to kill their lord. So defense can be really important. So don't totally neglect your lord, really.
Or points, for that matter, because that's the only reason we won that match.
Right. That's the other thing. This is the first map that I've seen where you can actually run out of time and not actually get to 500 points, which is kind of surprising. Usually, like, the matches are supposed to be 15 minutes, maximum. If it hits 15 minutes and nobody's gotten 500 points, the team with the most points wins. But I've never been in a match that has gotten to 15 minutes and nobody's gotten 500 points. But with this match, I saw that quite often, actually. We would only end up with like 300-something points by the time 15 minutes was up. And I think that's part of, because it's so complex, because there's so many moving parts in this map, that just getting points quickly isn't really a thing that you can do. There's a lot of little things that you can get a couple points for, like killing enemy NPCs gets you a couple points, summoning your own NPCs gets you a couple points, but overall, the only thing that gets you a ton of points is the lord. So either you run out of time or you kill a lord. But I saw, I don't know how many matches we ended up doing. I've lost count eventually.
At least half a dozen, I would think.
Yeah. And then I know I did some solo as well. That's the other thing. I can see this map being incredibly amazing for organized teams, or at least teams that are on some kind of voice chat with each other. Because, yeah, like, we did together, and then the other 3 people in our team we didn't know, and that was okay. I tried doing it solo queue, and it was awful. It was not great, because there was no communication. It was just not good. So if you have, like, a team or, like, a guild that you want to do PvP with, this would definitely be a map to do it, because the coordination and the communication is really key for this map.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about Stronghold. The more I played it, the more I liked it. The first match we did was pretty terrible. We got stomped pretty hard. And after that, though, I think we did a lot better. Because I think we knew what we were doing.
That first match, at least, like, I know who was in, I did not use the units, like, at all, aside from the first one you got, because I went straight to do something that I don't remember. But either way, yeah, you need to use the soldiers. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I just should mention, I think kind of limited. The archers don't seem to be that useful, at least from what I've found. They're kind of like fire and forget, I guess, if they're not...
they're good near the end of the match.
It's kind of an overwhelming force, yeah, I suppose. But at that point, you're winning anyway, presumably.
Yeah, presumably. Yeah. Yeah, I think that covers it for Stronghold. When the 24 hours was over, I was kind of like, oh, now I actually have to go back to regular PvP. Okay. And yeah, like regular PvP just seems so simplistic now comparatively. But Drek, you didn't do a whole lot in Guild Wars 2 this week, unfortunately.
I did absolutely nothing, sad to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got sick at the beginning of the week, and then after I felt better, I just had like a lot of other stuff going on. So yeah, I didn't actually even load it up once. So that's about the first week, and it's been a long time since I actually haven't hopped into game though. So
That is surprising, yeah.
yeah, but I'll have to make up for it this week. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I did though.
Oh, boy.
Managed to get my Felicia daytime in though,
Of course.
even though it wasn't in Guild Wars.
Okay.
While I was sick,
But it does have the word guild in it.
It does. See, I watched all seasons of The Guild, which was her web show that she did.
Mhm.
And if you have not seen it, I highly recommend watching it because it is hilarious. Especially if you're an MMORPG gamer, it's hilarious.
Yeah, you will be like, I know someone like that character.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. I think
Yep.
every one of the people that are in the guild, I can pretty much say, I know somebody like that. I know somebody like that.
Yep.
So check it out
Yep.
if you haven't ever seen it.
Mm-hmm. I also had some Felicia Day related stuff to mention this week. It's not related to Guild Wars. It's even more tangentially related. In fact, it has nothing to do with MMOs at all. But this week, in the new episode of Supernatural that Felicia Day is in, she wore 2 t-shirts sporting the logos of some comics that I'm a really big fan of, Lumberjanes and Rat Queens. So if you're into comics, I recommend those. You should read them. But yeah, this week, I was actually really productive in Guild Wars 2 this week, which is surprising because I feel like I had a really busy week and I feel like I didn't get a lot done. But once I wrote it all out, I guess I did. First of all, I renamed my Necromancer. He is no longer Kythrar. He is officially Creepomancer. So that's really fun.
I'm really surprised that was available, actually.
I know. I was gonna get a total makeover kit, and I was like, you know what? I'll get the identity changer kit to save a little bit of gems, and I'm gonna try and see if Creepomancer is available. I'm just gonna go for it. So I started typing it in, and Creepomancer was available, and I was just so happy. My second choice, if Creepomancer wasn't available, I was going to try for the Creepomancer, but I'm really glad Creepomancer was available. So that's an official thing now. I also made a Char Thief. I broke my salad binge. I don't know, my salad streak. I was thinking about making my one final character a Sylvari, just so I had a Sylvari of every class, but I had this idea for this Char Thief, and I used a total makeover kit to make him super adorable and fluffy and cuddly.
I guess you found a hair in your salad bowl.
Yes, I guess I did. There is a very large, cuddly clump of fur in the salad bowl. That's disgusting. But his name is Felix Whitepaw, and he's kind of based personality-wise on this cat that I used to have. And he's a thief, but he's kind of bumbling and not very graceful at all. I also spent a lot of time talking with Sarah, who's been on Adventures in Tyria with us a couple times. I talked with her a lot about character personalities and character stories and stuff like that. That's always good fun. Played a lot of Stronghold. Oh, and I am so close to getting Maudry. Big thanks to all the people who have sent me stuff. Glux, of course, has been helping me a lot with getting Maudry. He's been helping me tons. Devious Engineer also sent me some much-needed things like a grow lamp and stuff. So I've got everything I need, except the one thing I need is the Mist Stone. And to do that, I need to get 5 pristine fractal relics, so we need to do fractals, please. Yeah, so we gotta do fractals. The thing is, I have the regular fractal relics. I have 55 fractal relics, but no pristine fractal relics. I need 5 of them. And then I can finally have Maudry. Every other piece of the backpack is complete. I just need the fractal relics.
we'll have to run some fractors later, I suppose, sometime
Some
this
fractors,
week, I
yeah.
guess, or next week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully, because, yeah, it is literally the only thing standing between me and my beautiful, lovely little purple glowing vine back piece. And yeah, like I said earlier, I bought the Rainbow Unicorn PvP finisher. If you've ever seen the Dreamer, the legendary short bow in game, you'll notice that the unicorns that it shoots has an ArenaNet logo on its butt because it's like a cutie mark in My Little Pony. The Rainbow Unicorn PvP finisher also has a cutie mark, but instead of the ArenaNet logo, it's your guild's logo. So that's fun. Yeah. So we don't have any Guild Wars 2 Academy questions this week, but you can send them to us either on Tumblr, send us an ask, or you can email us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com. We also don't have any new donations, but we would love your support. If you go to guildwarsplayers.com/donation, you can support our Patreon page for the Players Alliance Network, which is the gaming podcast and site network that we're a part of. Or there's also a link there if you're interested in just doing a one-time PayPal donation. You can get things like you can get a mention on the show, or you can even join us for the show and be a guest on the show. We did not get any new iTunes reviews this week. We did get an email, though, from Ty. Thelros, would you please read Ty's email?
Sure, why not? Yeah, he says, I'm a 7-year veteran of Guild Wars 1 and have played Guild Wars 2 from beta. I love it as much as I did when I first started playing all those years ago. I am a traditional English timber framer as my job, and listen to podcasts while I'm at work chopping wood to keep me entertained. I recently stumbled across this podcast and really enjoy the content and discussions. I have a question about PvP builds. I heard Dracula mention that he was enjoying PvP as a ranger, and I just wondered what gear, weapons, and build he uses. I've just started getting into PvP myself, and I would like to play the ranger just as I did in Guild Wars 1. I would really like to hear some tips about enjoying PvP as a ranger so I can hold my own in a fight. I use old Zerk gear and ascended trinkets, accessories, full Zerk exotic armor, and weapons with superior ranger runes. I hope you guys can find some good talking point about this, perhaps. I also include 2 screenies of my much-loved human ranger for Sithirith. I love the show and really enjoy you guys talking about your adventures in Tyria. As a suggestion, have you ever thought about recording a dungeon run on TeamSpeak and using some of the funny parts in your podcast? Just an idea. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to hearing more podcasts about my favorite game/community hobby stuff. Much love and good hunting, Ty from the Guild T.
And yes, we actually always record our dungeon runs, but the problem is we aim with this podcast to keep it family-friendly language-wise, and we don't do that when we play games. We're really bad. And we're not super we are the opposite of family friendly when we do dungeon runs and we PvP. We do stream them though. Occasionally we do stream PvP together, either on Draculetta's Twitch channel or on my Hitbox channel. And there are actually 2 videos on my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/Sithrith. There are 2 recordings of our dungeon runs that we've done. Actually, the first 2 dungeon runs we did together. So you can go and watch little baby level 30 Drek and Sithrith and Thelros fail at dungeons. Yeah, we don't so much just for the language part, but we do record them. But yeah, Drek, what about your Ranger PvP build?
Yeah, I'm wearing the exotic armor, and I have an exotic longbow, so I don't have anything like spectacular. And as far as my build, I really actually don't have a build per se. That's something I should look at. I basically just try to trait myself so I do a lot of DPS damage.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you, slot this skill, and use this signet or whatever. Because I actually don't do that. That's something I should do. I'm not, as I said before, I'm not a big PvP player, and I'm actually surprised at how much I'm enjoying PvP. Mm-hmm. So I kind of do want to maybe look at doing a build, and I think I do fairly decent. I mean, you guys have played with me before. I mean, and I hold my own. So, I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good for not really trading for PvP per se.
Yeah, and I mean, when you go into PvP, it does have like default build set up, so it's not like you go in and you have to pick something. It could be. They have a default, and it's not the worst.
I think I'm using the default, and then I changed the signet to something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. I'll have to look it up, and maybe I'll leave a comment on this post when it goes up for the show on the site about what my actual signet and build is that I'm using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd be interested to hear other people's builds. I might post my Necromancer's build, because I've had a couple people ask me what kind of stuff I do, because I tend to focus on survivability with my Necro, and that works out really nicely, because, the whole not dying is quite nice. But yeah, what else? Yeah, so thanks. We're glad that you sent us an email. And I think the main part with enjoying PvP is if you have a group of friends to do it with, it's way more enjoyable. Even if you're dying a lot, it's just way more fun.
And I will second that wholeheartedly, because I know on the rare occasion that I do it by myself, I usually do not like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to want to rage quit, but when I do it with you guys, I don't, because it's just always fun. So
right,
we can rage together.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we can rage together.
Yeah, that's the key: is make sure that you have a group of friends that you go in and doing it with, and it's much more enjoyable that way.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for people like me that does not really enjoy PvP.
Right.
You'll be shocked that you might actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Like Thalros and I took Sarah in just before the podcast, and she was scared, but she said she had a really good time trying to kill people. So, yay. Yay for that.
Yay for having good times killing people.
All right, so I think that's about it. You can contact us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com. You can send us questions, topics you want to talk about, advice that you have for us or for just our listeners. Of course, go to guildwarsplayers.tumblr.com. You can follow us there, send us asks. Our main site is guildwarsplayers.com. That's where we post all our articles and good stuff like that. You can follow all of us on Twitter. We are @PlayersAlly for the Players Alliance Network. The site is @GWPlayers. I'm @Sithrith. Draculetta is @Draculetta_72. And Athelros is @Athelros. And of course, you can find us in game. You can find me at Sithrith.6741, Draculetta.7410, and Athelros.3164. The Players Alliance Network has a whole bunch of live shows besides this one. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is DDO Players News. Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern is this show. And Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is Lotro Players News. You can join us for all of these live shows by going to guildwarsplayers.com/live. There's a link there to our Mixlr page. And you can join us in the chat for the live shows. So this is Sithrith, and thanks for listening, and reminding you to look before you leap.